All right, and welcome back to episode 033 of the OK Podcast, powered by the Strength Co. I'm your host, Grant Broggi. The price of Bitcoin is $56,163. We'll cover that here in a second. We are broadcasting in the future from the upstate of South Carolina. PJ decided to get married this month.
My bad.
Yeah, seriously. So we're about a week ahead. So today is June. Listen to me, June. August the 6th in the year of our Lord 2024. We already got Friday's episode recorded this Friday. So if you haven't listened to Placido Santos talk about how much he loves his God, his country, his president, and his 7 kids and his jiu-jitsu boyfriends, go back and listen to that one. But we'll be a week late for some of this month, which will be interesting, especially when we talk about Bitcoin, because are you freaking out?
Nah, dude, I've been in the game a minute. I've seen worse.
Yeah. So when did you buy your first Bitcoin?
First,
and there's like mess around. Someone's like, you should buy Bitcoin. You buy $100, and then there's like, hey, I'm actually going to buy some Bitcoin. Or were you just like sold from day one?
No.
Because for me, there was 2 stages.
For me, actually, so me too. I first heard about it.
Me Too movement. I love it.
Hashtag Me Too. I first heard about it in, I think, 2018 or 19, something like that.
Yeah.
And thought it was dumb. Thought it was like, this sounds like some thing that some kid spun up in his basement. And it's just some scam or something like that.
Never underestimate kids in their basements.
They kind of run the world now. Yeah. And then I just didn't pay attention to it. And then I remember the whole thing, March of 2020 happened. Yeah. And then that got me down a rabbit hole of, I don't understand the economy. And because the simple way I put it is I had this idea in my head of, I understand the economy and the stock market. Like, if businesses are doing well, then
life is good.
Then it goes up.
Yeah.
And if they're doing bad, it goes down. Obviously, that's how it works. And then I remember seeing March of 2020 happen. Everything crashed. I was like, okay, this is interesting.
Well, that was like a housing boom, or
I think.
That was the brainwashing thing.
That one. They get confused sometimes.
I remember now.
And I remember seeing all of Main Street, all of the stores, restaurants, everything, gyms shut down, boarded up, everything's screwed. And I look at the stock market and it's screaming higher.
Yeah.
And I go, okay, I don't understand this at all then, because this just broke my whole worldview. So then I went down the rabbit hole. Long story short, I started going down like the gold bug kind of rabbit hole, the guys who love gold. And then from there, I kind of looked. One of the gold guys, Peter Schiff, was talking to Anthony Pompliano. I was like, "What's this Bitcoin thing?"
2 big names there. Casual name drop. Humble brag.
I didn't know him at the time, but it was like just hearing about him on YouTube. And then 2020, I finally was like, "I'm putting some money into Bitcoin. Okay. This makes sense."
Yeah, I was a little earlier. I think 2017. I had a gunny. It's all he talked about.
Ooh, humble brag.
Yeah. No, I don't mean like that. I actually just did it idiotically. Like you go to a horse race and someone's like, bet on this one.
And you're like, all right. Okay.
No, you know more than I know.
Yeah.
So I did a little bit then, but anyway, I say all that to say, if you're a Bitcoiner and that's why you listen to this podcast, I'm sorry we don't talk about it enough, but it's just funny because it's actually fine. It's even like the Dow yesterday down 1,100.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, zoom out. We're up 9% on the year.
Isn't that crazy? 9% is more than what most financial advisors would tell you to expect on average a year.
And it's why I hate politics. It's why I hate both sides, because all of the memes of like Kamala dancing to all the red.
We did it, Joe.
Yeah. That's like pretty great.
It's funny.
No, it's funny. And Trump being like, the stock market would be tripled. And it's just like, you're just like using this day.
No, he said Kamala crash, Trump cash.
Yeah, there you go. That's what he said. But no, it's funny. And in Bitcoin, I mean, I'll say this to the listeners. We're at 55. We started the podcast 33 weeks ago. We were at 41. So were we at 70 2 weeks ago?
Mm-hmm.
Dang right.
Yeah.
So zoom out a little bit. It's okay. Bitcoin's going to be fine. If anything, it's on sale. I like when things are on sales. we don't run sales with the Strength Co., who the podcast is powered by, unless presidents are shot at. And then we run sales, and then everyone says, oh, you did that. You shouldn't have done that. And I said, well, we ran out of 45. So yeah.
You know, the biggest drop I rode out was the 69,000 to the 15,000.
That one was the real deal.
That one was real deal.
Whenever it goes back below what you bought in at,
you just got to,
you do think about it, but you just say hodl,
and you back up the truck and you just load up.
You just load up.
But yeah, I think it's no big deal. If I want to transition it to strength training, it's like having a bad day in the gym. It doesn't really mean much.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean much.
You just keep showing up. You just hold on to your Bitcoin.
Yeah. This applies to all investments, by the way.
Yeah. This is not investment advice, but if you're looking to invest, buy the Block Clock Mini. Its current block height is 855-715. Shout out Zach Copley. We are broadcasting from the upstate of South Carolina, which some people find interesting. I've just always thought this was the upstate. There's two upstates in the countries. One is the upstate of South Carolina. The other one is upstate New York. And I don't know anyone else that says upstate.
That's
I didn't even think about that. But one nice thing about the upstate is all my friends from like Mexico, and when I say Mexico, I mean Texas. It's like the same thing.
It used to be.
Yeah. I mean, still is, but and those folks are even friends out in California, and no one who's ever lived in California says Cali, but those people, they're like, are you underwater? And I'm like, no, I'm in the upstate.
Yeah. The upstate's chilling.
I felt nothing.
Although we're supposed to go to Charleston for a honeymoon.
Yeah. You're screwed.
Yeah,
you are.
Actually,
like, no. I've been getting videos from my dad today, and I want to wait for Trey and Jeff to come on, because dads love to talk about weather.
Yeah.
And
they do.
My dad lives in the literally low country, which isn't a word.
He's close to Charleston, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, on the southern coast, you have Charleston, Beaufort, Savannah.
Okay.
And between all that region, same stuff. That's called the low country. And no, he's underwater. Like like his driveway is flooded.
Really?
It is like actually kind of really unbelievable. Bad. Yeah.
I got a cousin in Naples. I talked to him today. And they're experiencing the same thing. Everything's underwater. You know, Ron DeSantis took a lot of heat for his boots. He's just prepping for hurricane season. Now I get it.
Now you get it. Like, it's like, no, this is a guy that understands where he lives.
He said, no.
Yeah.
Alligators, flooding. I'm good.
I'll just wear these boots and I'll be fine.
So we're not going to, the honeymoon we're supposed to go on is not this Saturday, and then the next Saturday is the wedding, 17th.
Wait, so for the listeners, you'll get married tomorrow. If you're listening to this right now, Jordy's getting married tomorrow.
I'm getting married tomorrow.
Okay.
And then we're supposed to go on the honeymoon. So that's
generally how the order that it's supposed to happen. Yeah.
Typically.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, do you think that's enough time between Debbie and us being there for us to not have to ride around in boats?
Charleston's so used to flooding.
Yeah.
I mean, they really are.
That's what I hear.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's like, it's
a part of life.
You get a 5-6 inch rainstorm.
Yeah.
That's not named.
Yeah.
Right. It's just a storm, and everything that's cobblestone is flooded.
In Charleston, they just call it a storm.
They do. They do. I mean, like, I remember people coming into town, different things in the city, like, whoa, meeting streets underwater. I'm like, yeah, it rained.
Yeah. I mean, I lived in Brickell, Miami, which is like 6 feet above sea level, and it would just rain sort of hard. And my street would be
flooded.
River. Yeah.
Sea level. Such a vibe.
Sea level.
Such an interesting concept. But yeah, anyway, so we got storms happening. Debbie will be over by the time this is out. We'll have moved on. Stock
what category
market?
Is it? Oh, sorry.
No, it's a tropical storm. It's below a category.
It's fine.
It's below a category. No, it's interesting because my dad did send videos today, and it's definitely raining nonstop. But like, my dad has this thing where he wants to, like, when the neighbor, like, nothing's better than a hurricane where people evacuate and he doesn't.
Oh, yeah.
Because as soon as it dies down, he's cleaning his yard.
Yeah.
And he's cleaning his neighbor's yards.
And then they get back. And
he's like, yeah, the Lord spared me. You should come to church.
Oh, my
gosh. So he was out picking up sticks today. My mom was even picking up sticks. She's like, well, I needed to get steps. And so I went outside and I got wet. And I was just like,
hurricanes are just a mission trip for him.
Yeah, it's nothing.
Bringing people to the Lord.
Just prepping for Africa.
Oh, is he going
Ukraine? There? I don't know where he's going. I just mean wherever you need to go.
He said stock market.
Yeah. Can you stock market me for dummies?
Yeah, I can go kind of deep.
I've heard it's down.
It is down. Big drop in a long time. But I heard about the root cause of this whole stock market crash, and it all has to do with
Japan and the yen, baby.
It has to do with my homeland,
your
my people.
All right,
hit my people. Actually, it technically wasn't my people. It's people interacting with my people.
Same thing.
So the Japanese, they held strong with 0% interest rates, which basically means you can borrow money for like basically free.
Forever.
It's basically free money forever, right? And in the US, we have, not historically, but in modern times, pretty high interest rates.
Yeah.
So then people on Wall Street got to thinking, well, you're telling me that I can go borrow Japanese yen for nothing, convert that to dollars, buy whatever I want, and it's like I'm just getting free returns. And the answer is kind of yes until no, basically.
So what brought about the no?
So what brought about the no was there was some selling pressure. And so as the market dropped a little bit, it started to snowball, because once it drops a little bit, now some of those Wall Street guys got to sell to make sure that they can still pay back their Japanese yen loan.
Yeah.
And then a few of them were underwater. So then more people have to sell, which means the stock market goes down more, which means they have to sell even more. So it had this like cascading effect.
Is it done?
It's probably done.
Yeah.
It's probably done. I mean, funny enough, Warren Buffett sold like a ton of stock right before all of this happened. He sold, I think, half of his Apple stake, which, maybe he was just trying to trim his position, as they say. Maybe he's just diversifying or rebalancing, as they say. But
he also bought a bunch of iron right after that. So he might have been trying to...
Big, and we should call Warren. He should be an investor.
Yeah, he should be a sponsor.
A sponsor. Yeah.
He Warren Buffett, potential sponsor.
I wish we got some Warren Buffett sponsorship. But yeah, it was one of those things where, you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. Nothing lasts forever. Once again, that's what's happening. I know Japan had the biggest drop in their stock market since like Black Monday, which I think was 1987, something like that.
Okay.
It was pretty major.
Black Monday was bad.
Black Monday was very bad.
Black Friday is good.
It depends on if you're in the Walmart parking lot or not.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, big week in the markets. Guys I know that work in the markets, guys I train, they're like, yep, basically off this week. Not much I can do. I just got to wait for the aftermath, but
just go to the beach.
Yeah,
just go to the beach.
Go to the beach and buy Bitcoin. Buy the dip. The dip's never been better. Did we hit the 40s? We did, right?
I think it tapped 49.
Okay.
Which is so funny because then it shot back up to 53, 4, whatever like that.
56.
They're like, oh, Bitcoin, 10% gain in 2 days. I'm like, dude, your brains are so ruined.
Always zoom out to episode 1 of the OK podcast, because that's where you measure Bitcoin from. If you're an early hodler, we appreciate you. But really, the price of Bitcoin is based off episode 1 of the OK podcast.
It's like BC.
It is. Yeah.
Right.
Anno Domini.
Yes.
Yeah. After Christ's return. I feel that's kind of sacrilegious. But yeah, anyway, so that's what's up with the markets. Do we have anything media to bring up?
Nova's episode's doing well on YouTube. You see that?
I did see that.
It's like 7x the other ones.
Yeah. So Nova, thumbnails. It's a thumbnail game. If you want to start a YouTube channel, just let your content be whatever it is. Just have a good thumbnail. So if you have a female that looks more muscular than the viewers, people click on it.
Yeah.
But also, I've gotten a lot of feedback from that, from Marines, from women, all 6 of them that listen.
Yep.
But no, people are like, oh, that was an interesting podcast. I thought you did a great job. Thanks, Nova Sky Ward from Scotland, for coming on. That was good. But yeah, I did see she was doing well there. I saw she was doing well in the podcast numbers.
I didn't check the podcast numbers. She was up.
Yeah, they were up. Yeah, I mean, they were up for the first week. I mean, I mean, I have nothing to hide here. If you want to sponsor this podcast, we will totally. Oh, I forgot your gift.
Whoa.
We got a new podcast sponsor.
We did?
Well, someone that said they're interested and they sent us an item that they create. and it's a wedding gift for you. And I left it at the office. I'm just now remembering. And so they sent us all their info.
Yeah.
So we'll do that next week. We'll do
my wedding has
week.
Sponsors. That's sick.
Yeah.
Should I do a BW ad read in my wedding?
Oh, isn't BW officiating your wedding?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I mean, BW was at my wedding.
Good guy, better wedding officiant, best at taxes.
Best at taxes. But I lost my train of thought there.
Sponsors, numbers on the podcast.
Sponsors, numbers on the podcast. Yeah, but no. So I think we get about 400 in the first week, and then they all kind of top off between 700 and 800. So if you want to sponsor, think about those listeners. Remember that early listeners are the most loyal listeners. They're the people that buy stuff. They're the people that go do things. When we advertise the Slack channel, people click the Slack channel and they buy the Slack channel. When we talk about Massenomics Drink Spotters, people go buy Massenomics Drink Spotters. It's actually, it might be better to be in now because the people that listen now are really into it. So
they're motivated.
Yeah, they're motivated, and they're your first. What's the book or the website? First 1,000 fans, 10,000 fans, something like that. 1,000.
1,000 true fans.
Yeah, 1,000 true fans, right? So we're not peaking 1,000 fans every episode, but we're close. But Nova basically blew out the first week.
Yeah,
listeners. So thanks Nova for being cool, being a good Marine officer, and doing that for us. And if you want to sponsor, hit us up. Also, this podcast is powered by the Strength Co. And the Strength Co. sponsors the Massenomics podcast. They power this podcast. And we have a third one kicking off next week. It's called Tailgate Talks with Gamecock legends Stephen Garcia and Patrick DeMarco. He was a 4.0 student. They call him 4.0 DeMarco. He was number 4, fullback type. Tailgate Talks, they're kicking off for this college football season. And we are their, what they call a built by sponsor.
Wow.
Yeah. The podcast is not just put on by them. It's put on by the university or Gamecock Football Plus, I think it's called. So we had some cool footage from those guys. They were texting me, them in Strength Co gear on Williams-Brice Stadium doing different things. So check out Tailgate Talks 247. I think it is 24/7, I assume.
Yeah.
Yeah. On Instagram. I'll give you the link. You can put it in the show notes, but we're sponsoring that. But if you want to sponsor this podcast,
hey, line is long. First of all,
if the line is long, there are people chopping down the door to just sponsor your wedding.
I know. Listen, you can't hear this because of the type of the microphone that we're using, but there's people knocking on the door right now. Oh, you just can't hear it. We just have to
the mic's good, right?
It's a good mic.
It means it's not bad. It means it's the best mic.
Many people are saying
it's the best mic.
It may be the best mic.
You've never seen a better one.
No.
There have been other mics.
Other people have mics. They're so tiny. They're tiny mics.
This mic,
mics.
It's the best. You're going to get tired of this mic.
It's tremendous.
It's tremendous.
It sounds so good. You'll be tired of sounding good.
Yeah. Anyway.
And the listeners, they're not just kicking tires.
No, they're real buyers. So check that out. It is BW Tax, small business. I own a couple of LLCs. I just switched one to an S Corp. Who am I going to talk to? Hey, this is what the BW. That's our guy. So check him out. But yeah, that's what's new in the news.
Anything new on training?
Yeah. So by the time you watch this, we released a video on back pain. I dealt with a tweak.
Oh, you got a tweak.
That's not the sponsors knocking. That's me knocking on wood that I won't have another one.
That's opportunity.
I dealt with a tweak, and I'll keep it short because you probably at this point watched a YouTube video. But basically, I went 7 days without training. Yep. And this is when these sort of things always happen. They always happen off of some kind of delay. And it wasn't me being lazy. I trained the day before I left for drill. I did come back on Monday, but I had not slept, and it's a little risk versus reward thing. I was like, I'm going to sleep, train tomorrow. So I trained on Tuesday. Then I trained the following Tuesday. I squatted kind of heavy. I dropped a set, and I did 2 sets of 5 at 425 and whatever. I benched, I pressed. I came in the middle day. I did the other upper body exercise. I don't remember. If you haven't seen the YouTube video, do it, because I pulled up my stats today and I went through all of them when I recorded it. And then Friday I went to lift, and I was like, well, I kind of want to squat and deadlift because I haven't done either of them heavy. And part of me was like, well, you should deadlift heavy because you squatted heavy Tuesday. But I thought, I only did 2 sets of 5. I'll squat 3 sets of 5, same weight. So I'll keep the same weight, 425 on the Mars bar, which definitely, you can squat a little bit more, loads the hips a little bit more. In any event, I'm on my 3rd set. I'm on rep 4. And like, it's like my back just went, like nothing bad. Like I didn't fall over, no shooting pain. I didn't finish and I couldn't walk. I just felt my back do something. Mm-hmm. And so I racked after rep 4. I was like, I'm done. I walked around the gym. I was like, okay, I'm not broken. Let me bench. So I benched and I benched, I don't know, upper 2s, maybe it was 300. I benched 5 by 5. Yeah. And you use your low back in the bench, particularly with that little arch. Like
I've kind of felt it in my low back every now and then.
I've been sore sometimes after benching. Yeah. If you're making a big arch, but I did that. I felt nothing. So then I thought, okay, my back feels weird. I should deadlift to use it. And then for whatever reason, I power cleaned. I was like, I should power clean. So I power cleaned to warm up and felt fine. I think I power cleaned like 235 for 3 sets of 3.
Okay.
And then I warmed up and I deadlifted 1 set of 405 by 5. Yeah. I left. I felt great. I got home. I don't remember what I did, but after sitting, which is my point in all this, and I got up, my back hurt.
Yeah. You mentioned that on Friday when we recorded.
Yep.
You're like, I don't know, back's tired.
Yeah. So I was like, it'll be fine. I woke up Saturday morning. I was in a lot of pain.
Yeah.
But I was just like, okay, let me just think about this. Like, I know I'm not super hurt because I, quote, hurt my back. And then I was able to power clean, deadlift, bench press.
If you were really hurt, you'd be on the ground. Yeah.
So my back was definitely hurting. So about middle of the afternoon, I was like, all right, I need to go on a walk. So I went on like a 2-mile walk.
Okay.
And anytime I hit a little bit of an incline, I like really opened up my stride. Like normal people walking trails probably thought I looked like I was on crack. Like I was definitely walking a little bit weird. But the more I moved, the better I felt. Came back, went to dinner Saturday night, sat down, got up from dinner, back hurt again. Mm-hmm. Same story through Sunday. And then I go to Monday and it's time to lift. And I'm like, well, my back hurts. I clearly can't lift. And I was like, let me just try. And for whatever reason, I was like, let me use a straight bar. I heard it on the Mars bar. Let me try the straight bar. I used a straight bar. I worked up to 365. I did 5 sets of 5. I didn't use a belt. Like, I don't know. I'm not saying that's a go-to. You should buy our belts. Our belts are great. A lot of times when people have back pain, I tell them to wear a belt anyway. But for some reason, it felt like I could focus more. Like
I was going to say, why did you not wear a belt?
I felt like I could just like really focus on the brace more because like nothing else was helping me. And that's a grantism. There's no science there. This
is fine. Bro
Peter
science.
Attia. Like it's just, I'm not going to use a belt. And I'd say I'm 85% now. I got to lift tomorrow. Like today, I woke up, I hurt a little bit.
Yep.
I got up, I stretched, I walked, and yeah, I mean, now I'm feeling decent. But the moral of the story and the thing I want you to understand is if your back hurts, it is never, ever, ever the answer to not lift. Like you must go lift. And the reality is, I heard it on Friday, here it is Tuesday. The moments that I have felt the best have been like literally during the execution of the lift, workout. Using it. And it's like after that stuff hurts. But anyway, that's training. That's your mediocre lifter update. I guess we should get these guys on here.
Let's do it.
Episode 033 of the
Okay.
Guidons.
Okay.
Podcast powered by Strength Co. That gets better every week. Guidons means everyone, and we just lengthen the K part if we miss the O. That's how you clean that up.
Yeah.
Anyway, the Olympics are going on. We've talked about the stock market crash. We want to talk weather and how every dad in the Southeast is really concerned about the weather. Well, actually, Jeff, let's just get right into that. Your dad, like, what's his pool temperature right now?
Good question. I haven't gotten our most recent update. I imagine it's in the mid 80s.
Okay. So he doesn't chill that thing?
definitely getting documented. No, yeah, just natural.
So in a rainstorm, does he let it overflow?
I don't.
Or does he cover it?
Got it. I don't think it's ever. Well, maybe that has happened, but
he's a
not that I
conservationist.
can ever remember.
Okay,
it's all natural.
But yeah.
Well, Tropical Storm Debbie is rolling through the southeast.
Little Debbie?
Yeah,
Little
Little
Debbie.
Little Debbie, the white stripes. She plays the drums. What's her real name?
Meg White.
Deborah.
Definitely Little Debbie. Everyone calls her Little Debbie. I
don't know if that's
what I've
actually
always
her
said.
real name, though. It might not be.
No, that is her real name, Little Debbie.
Yes.
Have you listened any more to that No Name album?
It's all I've been listening to when I've been going to music during workouts or like walking to work. It's been No Name, which is
No Name.
I'm digging it. Like,
what's your favorite track?
I definitely love that first one. I think that one's super good. I can't remember what it's called. I gotta pull it up.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Old Scratch Blues.
Yeah.
What's been another?
I like That's How I'm Feeling. Well, I don't know if that's what it's named, but that's what I'm calling it.
That's how you're feeling.
No, that's actually the name. You nailed it.
Yeah, that's how I'm feeling right now.
PJ, you listen to
And
this?
I'll be honest.
I did not listen to it yet.
You're a musician.
Dude, you know how much music there is?
You gotta listen to all the music.
All the music.
All of it. No, I need to. I got some long car rides coming up. Queuing it up.
It's a good album.
It's good.
Where are
It's
you
a good
going?
album.
Driving to North Carolina for 6 hours, and then driving to Charleston for 4 or 5, then driving to Greenville for 4-ish.
Oh.
Whatever.
That's called his wedding.
That's called my wedding, honeymoon,
it's a car wedding.
triangle adventure.
Yeah.
Good old
Little
car,
car
wedding.
wedding.
Mobile
Little
wedding.
does-
Southern car wedding.
Little does he know that the OK Podcast hired Jack White to sing at his wedding.
Oh, no way!
My gosh, yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna
Singing
be
that
fun.
Sponsorship money.
Yeah.
Singing the
I am
anthem.
part of the Strength Co. The OK Podcast deal was I have to do an ad read during the ceremony,
Oh, yeah.
which I feel like it's fair.
Your wedding's brought to you by BW Tax
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, BW is officiating it. So
Yeah.
he
and
kinda,
sponsoring it, right?
Yeah.
and sponsoring it.
Yeah.
PJ can't afford not
Wow, what
to.
a guy.
I mean,
These
if
vows
you
are
get
brought
married-
to you by BW Tax.
Listen, you get married, the financials get combined. There's a lot of, red tape you got to work through. I know who I'm calling.
A lot of people wait until years after their marriage to make the financial changes. But when BW officiates a wedding, he's just like, hey, look, talk to me. Are you guys filing joint? Are you filing separately? Is she a woman? Is she going to own the business? Is this a woman-owned business? Or because you're Japanese, is this minority owned?
The answer is yes.
Let me know. I know all the answers to get through.
Cutting through the red
tax.
tape.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? Whoever owns it is whoever gets the biggest tax break. That's
Amen.
who owns it.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm going to leave with a joint bank account and a tax return. That's what I'm going to leave the wedding with.
That's it.
Dang.
Yeah.
And instead
Yeah.
of like a DJ, you're just going to have a booth set up with BW to do people's taxes right
Can
there
you
at the
imagine?
wedding.
Can you imagine? No one wants to go to a wedding, but if you get to go to a wedding and get ahead of your taxes,
And here's the thing. I'm also I'll probably podcast during the reception. So now it's a write-off. Now I
Yeah.
can write off the whole
Smart.
wedding.
and remember that business write-offs equal free money.
It's
free money.
free. You can't afford not to.
Whenever a business owner says, well, it's a write-off, that means it's free.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah, I had to buy this plane.
I had to.
That's like
It's a
girl
write-off.
math. Yeah.
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 Girl math. As Nova says, the only thing harder than girl math, there's nothing harder. Artillery math is easier than girl math. It's all difficult.
Verified. Dude,
If you
speaking of
buy
that, I was driving home and I was like, what should I listen to? I'm like, I'll listen to the OK podcast. Pulled up the YouTube.
Obviously.
Do you see
She's smoking
dude,
7X.
There's a lot of people listening
Pumping.
to that.
A lot of people.
Pumping, dude.
So mom, I know that, I just saw my mom this weekend and she was like, I just want to say that you're my son and I love you. And I know
That's
you guys
good.
I think you guys think it's funny that I'm your only listener, but I take pride. And then I was like, oh mom, 7 other people listen this week. You're not the only one. But yeah.
She's getting lost in the crowd now.
Yeah, seriously.
Hey, she was the first.
She was the first. And if you're not
always remember
first,
You're last.
You're seventh. Yeah.
Heck, Bob.
We're from the south.
Hell yeah.
We told the audience early on that we're kind of futuristic right now because PJ's getting married and it ruined everything. But
brought to you by BW Tex.
This is the end of the Olympics in real time.
Ooh, okay.
Last
week, a good one.
Well, so many good events.
So many good, fun
memories that they gave out.
That
was great.
Yeah. That thing that happened was crazy. You remember?
Did you see that one?
That one, dude. Oh my!
Yeah.
I was like,
wild.
what? I didn't expect that.
I like how Grant was
everyone was
roll.
talking about it the next day. Like we were all talking about it. They were all talking about it. Everyone was
stop talking about it. I pulled up
we were podcasting about it.
Every day I stopped what I was doing to watch it.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
I cried that one time. Yeah.
So I
Trey, I'm not going to bring up any more topics.
Olympic updates. Okay.
Because
you'll just get interrupted.
You guys are just going to crap on it.
Yeah.
But the U.S. is up in medals, right? Gold.
Last time I checked, yeah.
Yeah. USA.
Time of recording, I think they were up.
USA.
Like, what was it, 24 to 21 or 22 or something like that?
Yeah.
I can't remember. I think
I'll
that's
take
what I saw.
it.
Pulling it up. We had 24 to 22.
I saw that.
China.
Ooh. I saw that guy win the 1,500 meter today out of nowhere.
Dude. That was a fun
The US guy?
watch. Did
I
either of y'all see that?
Was that today or was that the one yesterday where the photo finish was all over X today?
Oh, where it was like,
not the black guy with the painted nails. Is that who we're talking about?
That was so you're talking about the 100. That was the 100.
Okay. Okay. So what are we talking
close.
about? That was
This
crazy
is
close.
This is the 1,500. So like a little short of a mile.
Yeah.
And apparently the US guy won gold. And then Jeff, what you're saying, he didn't qualify. He qualified on time.
Yeah, he didn't even he wasn't top 2 in his
heat.
I want to say he was like 3rd or 4th in his qualifying heat. And so he had to wait for the other heats to get done so he could see if his time qualified him for the final. It did. They talked about him, but they weren't like, oh, this guy's a gold medal contender. Let's keep an eye on him. They're kind of like, oh, cool. And this Cole Hawker guy, he qualified. He'll probably qualify on time. That's cool. Good for him. And then he went ahead and just took the gold from the 2 guys that were
out of nowhere
favorites.
Yeah.
Was he Great Britain? Was that what he was?
Great Britain guy got second.
Yeah, a British
American
guy and a Norwegian guy, I think, were the 2
American
favorites to win it.
Britain's been getting
American
second for a long
gold.
time. Am I right?
Classic.
Yeah. Our greatest export.
British guy got
spanking
second.
British people.
American guy got bronze.
Wow.
So good stuff.
All right.
Good stuff.
Anyway, the Olympics, they were great.
Hey,
we loved
the
it.
Olympics.
Yeah, the
All I could
Olympics.
see on X was the pole vaulting.
Yeah, the pole vaulting. Well, so it wasn't just the pole. So there's the pole vaulting, and we'll just tell the listeners, Mom, earmuffs. The guy's junk gets clipped by the thing.
His equipment.
But then there was there was a bunch of memes from that. But then there were poor Michelle Obama. I always feel bad for her. But then there was I can't believe I didn't get selected for the Olympics. And there was a run of everyone failing things in sports. Yeah. I always feel a little bit bad for Michelle Obama's daughters. I'm like, man, politics are rough.
If you're gonna not go over the bar, what a way to be known by it.
What a way.
Yeah.
If you're gonna lose.
If you're gonna lose, win. I love it.
Did he lose?
No, he
did
won.
he lose?
He won.
I feel the whole world's like, okay.
You put anyone's
See you in Los
face,
Angeles, buddy.
You put anyone's face on that body with the equipment getting checked, and it's funny.
Yeah.
You could put Trey's face, and everyone would be like, okay.
Okay, Trey.
Okay,
Trey.
Man, they already think it's funny. Yeah, put that as a thumbnail.
Yeah. That'd be a good thumbnail.
We just talked about how the thumbnail matters for views. We had Nova on there last week. It popped. No,
Just
2
put
weeks
her on.
ago.
Just continue to put
future.
her on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll put Nova's
Keep putting
face
Nova.
on it.
Yeah. Some people just think she's on it every time. Yeah.
So Nova, if you're listening, we need more photos of you in sporting gear, and we'll just always put them as the thumbnail, and the podcast will just skyrocket.
Can't afford not to. I like the Photoshop Trey pole vaulter. That's good. I would click.
I like Trey. Oh.
Yeah, I would click.
Wait, should I pause
someone sent it. Someone sent it to me.
There you go. That's for
face. Yeah, there you go. Clip that.
Good job.
I'm gonna make that either way.
Yeah, I know you are.
A former female from the gym, gyms.thestrength.co. We got 2 of them. We got one in California, one in South Carolina. But a former member from the original OG, the Strength Co. Costa Mesa, messaged me a link to the podcast and said, "Who's this?" And it's because this girl like cares a lot about lifting and like looking buff. And I said, "It doesn't matter. You clicked it, right?" And she goes, "Oh, I listened to the whole thing. I've never listened to your podcast before." And I was like, thanks, Nova. Wow. Thanks, Nova. We don't make the rules.
We've cracked the code.
Yeah, we don't make the rules. We just obey them.
It really does. Like guests are big for especially podcasters starting out. And like you guys got to like break into other rooms of YouTube.
So good news. There's no guest this week.
Yeah.
No.
If you're
back to our normal
for listeners.
If you're listening, you're one of our 1,000 true fans.
Yeah, that's right.
And we appreciate you.
That's awesome.
We should make it's easier for me to say this. Grant actually has to do it, but we should make like a podcast, like OG swag, like a shirt, like original listener. You know what I mean? Like I was here first.
It's Trey Gottlich pole vaulting.
It's just him on the front. We got Nova flexing on the back, and then on the side of the arm, it just says OG right here.
Yeah. If you know, you know.
I like it. I mean, I feel like if we were going to sell a t-shirt, it's Zach Copley at the Arnold going, I mean, that's got to be the top 5
still the best
podcast moments. Yeah. Shout out Zach Copley.
Yeah. Speaking of that, did y'all talk Bitcoin already?
Yeah, but we're ready to talk about it more. Don't worry, buddy. Did you buy? Are you in?
No, dude. I still don't know how.
You don't know how to buy it?
Coinbase.
Yeah. Coinbase.
So then what do you do after? Then I go, Grant, where do you keep it? Do you just keep it on Coinbase?
Oh God.
Can I answer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm struggling over here.
Don't worry about it right now. Grant's gonna yell at me. Just go to Coinbase. If you want to do this, just buy some Bitcoin. All the other problems we'll figure out. That's a future trade problem.
Terrible advice. The moment you buy it, you should move it off, or you don't own it.
Because he
won't
do it.
Where it?
He won't do it.
Like a wallet.
No, you get a Bitcoin grenade. Yeah, no, you get like, okay, let me talk this like if I was a Texan. If I was a Mexican. If I was a Mexican Texan, you just buy, it looks like a thumb drive, and you put a password on the thumb drive. And so you buy your Bitcoin on Coinbase, like PJ said, that's your bank, right? That's like where you're going to make the transaction. So it's like, so imagine you go to the bank and you give them $500 and they're like, okay, you have $500 in the bank. It's technically your money, but Wild Bill Hickok comes in and he robs the bank, right? And your money's not there. It's like, you buy a bond. It's probably a better thing. You buy a bond.
This is weirdly making a lot of sense. Yeah.
It is, right?
No,
but then you're like, well, the bond is mine. I gave you the money for it, but you're in possession of it. I'm not.
Okay.
And so while crypto is safe, Bitcoiners will hate me for this. Crypto is also like the most notoriously thing hacked. And like the people that like the safety of it are the same people that are like, if I steal it from you, you can't do it because you're a dumb Texan. So like the moment you buy it, you want to put it on a physical thing that you possess in your home.
And then bury it.
And yes. Yeah, actually kind of. There's a lot of different things they make to do that sort of thing.
You lose it in
but you take it, you buy it on Coinbase or whatever, and then you transfer it to a physical thing. And then that physical thing you possess, and you can't trade it. You can't buy things with it unless you plug that physical thing into some type of merchant.
And you send it back to Coinbase, maybe. If you
might send it back. But my advice, and this podcast does not give financial advice, but if you actually think there's a future in Bitcoin, is you buy it, You put it on a physical device. You make sure you remember all your 21 words and all your codes and all that stuff. And then you keep that device somewhere. And it's like a safety deposit box.
It's like withdrawing cash.
Except in your house instead of in the bank, where you can protect it with your own guns in Texas.
It's like withdrawing cash from the bank. Like if you have $1,000 in the bank, it's actually not there. There's like maybe $100 there, and then they're loaning out 900 because that's apparently how the fractional reserve banking system works. But if you withdraw it, now you have it under your mattress, and it actually is $1,000, not just an IOU of IO Trey $1,000. So I don't disagree with Grant's advice. I was just saying, if you're overwhelmed by all that, just get through buying a little bit on Coinbase.
No, I think he's right in terms of right now with the price of Bitcoin. I do think if you don't own anything, like it may be $300, maybe $500, maybe whatever. I do think it's a good time to buy and figure the rest out later. I also think like Bitcoin is notorious for people that understand what's going on taking advantage of people that don't understand what's going on. So I would say the moment you buy it,
I feel like that's most of life.
You own.
Yeah.
Like most
that's life.
systems.
Yeah. Systems. Yeah.
I'll give you one more analogy. I don't know if this will make things more clear.
The price of
more
Bitcoin is
confusing.
just going up as we're talking about it.
We can't afford not
It's
to.
rising.
Your analogy needs to have a bank robber in it, like Grant had it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Wild Bill.
All right.
Wild Bill. You have to work Wild Bill.
I just shot my deputy.
All right. I can do that. I can do that.
Right.
So let's see if Grant disagrees with this, but let's just pretend Coinbase is your bank. It has an address on the front door, right? You want to buy a house with your own address that you own. This is my house. This is not in my possession. It also has an address. When you're sending it to that little thing that we're talking about, that little thumb drive, it's basically like you have to go in there and be like, hey, my Bitcoin is at this address. I want to send it to my house address or my little wallet address. And you send it over that way. Wild Bill can't come into the bank and take all your money. It's not even there.
Wow. That's pretty
Hang on. I need
Grant's so offended he left. Grant's like, this sucks.
Oh, he's going to get all his Bitcoin.
Oh, that's his Bitcoin.
There it is.
All right. Here we go.
There's a Bitcoin.
Here we go. If you don't watch us on YouTube,
You're missing out.
you need to watch us on YouTube.
Oh my gosh.
This is the bank. This is Coinbase. This is the bank.
Okay.
Trey says, I want Bitcoin. And he takes $100 bill. This was given to me by my mother because we had a baby shower. We had a baby shower for my wife this weekend. And she somehow thought this paid for all of it. But anyway, she gave me this $100 bill before she left. Okay. So the $100 bill.
Too much Bitcoin with that.
The $100 bill goes in the bank. But the bank's down the street. It's over there. Right? It's over there. But the $100 there, and it's mine. It's mine. But it's not mine because it's over there.
You have a note that says it's yours.
Someone has told me it's mine, but it's inside this bank. But then you have my wallet, which is Bitcoin Grenade. Shout out Zach Copley again.
Shout out.
And I say, you know what? I know the $100 is mine over there, but I'd like to take this $100 and put it in here. And I'd like to I'm going to ruin this $100
Blow it up.
Sorry, Mom. I just want to keep this $100 on me. And I don't care if the bank knows anything anymore because my $100 is right here. So
and you could send it back.
And you could send it back. You could send it back to the bank. But like, if the bank has your money, Trey, you don't have your money. The bank has your money. But if you're holding the grenade, you have all the power.
I love, first of all, I'm going to say, I got a couple questions, but I love how your first analogy made perfect sense, but we also explained it 2 other times. So I appreciate it.
It was the same analogy 3
y'all
times.
I just love how y'all hammer that home. I get it. It's fantastic.
Do you want one more? Do you want
Trey, imagine a
any
bank,
more?
okay? Imagine in your mind, close your eyes, imagine a bank, okay? In that bank is your money, but it's not actually your money because the bank has it, okay? Okay, picture it with me now.
You know what's funny is I think a lot of listeners that listen to this and don't really think about Bitcoin are going to be like, oh, I get it now. Yeah,
I get it.
For sure.
Yeah. So I guess two other questions.
2 other analogies?
Two other analogies?
No, we got you covered, brother.
Yeah.
There's questions. So why wouldn't you just buy like a gold? but like a hard gold coin.
You can.
You could.
Okay.
You can. But actually, so there's similar rules about that, or similar analogies, just to add more. Like you can buy GLD in your retirement account, which is a gold ETF, which just tracks the price of gold. It's just some security sitting in your
but I don't
account.
have it physically.
Or you could call up, what is it, JW something bullion, something like that. I can't remember the name of it, and buy a
actual
gold
bullion
coin, a gold bar, and it gets shipped to your house, and you have a rock.
Yeah,
you get one of those
same concept, in my opinion.
Commemorative 9/11 gold coins.
That Fox News always advertises. Heck yeah.
One more analogy. It's Mr. Pillow. You either give him money or you actually sleep on the pillow. Or it's the Donald Trump Bible. You either believe in America or you have his Bible, which is a different thing, you know?
The greatest
That's what it
book.
all comes down to. Yeah. This is the best book. We love this book.
We love this book.
Second question. So you buy it. Do you have a price in your head if it hits this, like I sell it?
Selling strategies there's a lot of them. Well, you could do whatever you want. You could say, I mean, here's probably your best strategy. Just buy it and say, I'm not going to think about this for 10 years. I'm going to look at it again in 10 years. Probably the smartest thing to do. Mm-hmm. Another thing is you could say, hey, if it hits this price, I will sell it. Or say, if it hits 100K or 200K, I don't know what your number is, I'll sell half of it. If it hits another one, I'll sell the amount that I put in. So if you bought $100, it goes up
Get your money back out
to $1,000. You could take out, if it hits a number, it hits $1,000, take your $100 back out. Now people think that they're playing with the house money, right? I don't know if you like that sort of thing.
So just
my thought is, I know business owners, and like I won't name them, but people that own like pretty big businesses that basically, in my opinion, gamble with it. Like, hey, I'm going to put 300K into this, and I'm going to ride, from 40 to 70, and I'm going to exit. I know a guy that did that with a couple $100,000, made a bunch of money, right? So like, there's people that, in my opinion, are gambling with it.
I wouldn't recommend that one.
I don't either. My opinion on Bitcoin is, if you actually believe in the system and what it is and what it's protecting you from, then my thing is, hey, I'm putting in enough money to where, and this is a grantism, but if it goes a certain height, it's actually life-changing. So like if it goes to the point where I can buy a new car, it didn't really change my life, right? There's a lot of different things I could do where I could buy a new car. So for me, I'm like, I'm holding out to where it's like, oh, it changed my life. And we may never get there, although I do think we are going to go to the moon. But like, my opinion is, put enough in that, like, and it could be $1,000. It might be $5,000. It might be $10,000, but some amount where you're like, hey, if this actually goes from 50 to 150, like, I actually made a lot. And I'm kind of with PJ on like, hey, I'm not going to think about it for 10 years. Although I don't think it's going to take 10 years. I think it might be 5 years. It could make 3. And I'm not knocking him on that. I'm not saying he thinks it's going to take 10 years, but my opinion is like, put him out. Like, I actually think you should think of it as an investment. And I think one of the benefits to Bitcoin is that a lot of people actually do gamble with it, which when it's on a run, it runs further. But that's where you need to know, like, hey, these things are happening in life where we hit 60. Why do we shoot to 70? Because you got guys trying to gamble on it, right? You got guys like in there for the short term. But if you look at it zoomed out 8 years, what do we see? A steady climb, right? More people thinking, hey, I don't believe in fiat. I don't like the federal bank controlling everything. And so I think it's on a rise over time. But
8 years ago, it was like $1,000, something like that. But I will say, can I play the devil on the other side of the shoulder? So also
I only got 2 shoulders.
I'm speaking from experience. Put an amount in there that if it drops in half tomorrow, you can sleep at night.
Yeah, that's good.
So
guys.
1 Bitcoin.
Ooh.
Okay,
Trey.
Trey.
Well, how much is Bitcoin worth? How much did it drop?
I remember
Bitcoin's worth $55,000.
Because you will get emotional about it. You'll get emotional about it. So like, just put enough, on the one side, hey, make it count if you're going to do something. On the other hand, just like have in your mind, this drops in half or by 80% tomorrow. I'm not like tossing and turning all night because I'm so stressed.
Jeff, what were you going to say?
Dang. Yeah. Oh, this is a good, we can bring Wild Bill into this one more time.
I love Wild Bill.
It's like a bank.
It's been like 2015. I'm doing this like tactical air control party, like school primer thing. So it's like a 2-week like course to get you ready for this 6-week course. And so I'm in it with a couple other guys. So it's like artillery guys and some pilots. And the guy that's like sitting in front of me in this course is this kind of like squirrely looking dude. He's an Osprey pilot. And like between classes, you know, just kind of like talking with each other, shooting the shit. And he like turns around and he's like, hey, what's going on? Like introduce him. I'm Wild Bill. And I'm like, oh, hey man, what's up? He's like, I'm an Osprey pilot. I was like, oh, cool. He's like, you know anything about Bitcoin? And I was like, I've heard of it. I don't know. He's like,
Dude, Grant was talking about.
I just shot my co-pilot.
He just like dumped like $50,000 into it at that point.
Holy
so he's
shit.
probably sitting pretty right about now. He's like,
Probably bought his own Osprey. Yeah.
If he held.
Yeah, so now I don't know what he's doing, but he was an interesting.
No,
fellow.
I actually know him. He's actually with BLT-17, and they changed his call sign from Wild Bill to Rich Bill.
Rich
and,
Bill.
They just call him Rich Bill.
You're a rich Bill.
Another quick story about Wild Bill. So like then later on, this is like a couple years later. So yeah, same one. Where like he gets attached to some infantry battalion, and so we're out like doing some sort of like close air support like drills with them, and we have some helicopters on station, and we have this like internal radio net. So we have like the radio net where we're talking to the aircraft, and then we have one where like internal to the folks on the ground. And we're like talking to aircraft, and all of a sudden you hear in like the other like earpiece, you hear like, hey, this is Wild Bill. Hey, these guys only got 5 more minutes on station. We got to get them out of here before they. And we're like, do you think they're just going to let themselves like crash? Like they're just, if we don't see, he's like, they only got like 5 minutes left to gas. We got to get them out of here. We got to get them out of here now. We're like, well, like, they're going to let us know. Like, I think it's going to be okay. They'll tell us when they need to leave. We'll be all right.
The truth of the matter was he had 50 grand on Coinbase and he needed to get back to Wi-Fi to transfer it to his ledger. And he was freaking out.
I'm going to go rob Coinbase. Some Wild Bill.
Yeah. This has been the Bitcoin episode. Take us down for a landing, Trey. No, I'm just kidding.
That's actually, if you think about the thumbnail, we could now justify putting a giant Bitcoin on it, and it would smoke.
No. So you have the pole vaulting guy, and his nuts are Bitcoins.
This can't fail.
Yeah.
And then nobody's just in there.
Yeah,
somewhere. She's in the corner.
Yeah.
I got a funny money story too. It's what's the?
Oh, you have another analogy?
No. What's the bored apes? Have you heard of them?
Yeah. NFT.
So I was sitting in Tulsa.
Were you on Tulsa time?
I was on Tulsa time, and I think I was like waiting to see a customer, so I went to go grab lunch, and I was sitting at the bar, and like the guy next to me was also like eating by himself, so we just started conversation.
Typical Texan behavior
in Oklahoma, but he had just read. He's like. I'm like, so what do you do? He's like, well, I think I'm getting ready to quit this job. And I'm like, then what are you gonna do? He's like, I think I might retire. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah. So about 6 months ago, he's like, I didn't know anything about NFTs, but I read like Crypto for Dummies, where that was the book. And then the next day, the Bored Apes came out. He goes, oh, this seems interesting. And he bought 4 of them, like the original.
That is insane.
He's rich.
He's rich. He's like, I sold one and paid off my house. And then like I have, and he's like, and then I have like 3 more. And then he was telling me like, he goes on like yachts with like famous people.
Crypto people do the weirdest stuff.
They're weird.
That's true.
They're weirdos who got rich. It's super weird.
But yeah, he's hanging out.
Everyone's got a story. I had a gym client that mined, I think 10 Ethereum.
Yeah.
In his garage. And then like Ethereum mooned. And now he owns like a house and
it's got to be more than 10 Ethereum.
What did Ethereum top at? Like
4,000.
Yeah. And Bitcoin. I don't remember what it was, but I know that he is a multimillionaire now.
Maybe it's a little more than 10 ETH.
Yeah, more than 10 ETH, but yeah. Anyway.
Well, yeah, just
my mom's even logged off. We should move on. We should totally move on.
So it's like a bank.
Yeah. It's like a bank, and you're protecting it from Wild Bill. Who's actually trying to protect you. He just is doing it wrong.
He just is doing it.
Next slide.
Okay. Other thing I had in there, super just love really convoluted processes in the military where so I'm trying to get actually transferred over to the new unit that I'm in. But so you have to send in this form that one I didn't even know about. And I remember checking out of the unit. I was like, is there anything else I need to do? And they were like, oh, no, you're good, sir. We got everything on your checkout sheet done. So I was like, okay, cool. And then a couple weeks go by and I get an email. It's like, oh, sir, we got to do your inter-unit transfer. And I'm like, okay, cool. Get that routed up. It gets pushed over to the new unit. They have to change the actual I don't even know what BIC stands for, but it's the specific
Billet identification code.
Yeah, there you go. That
everyone
I was going to say that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay. So I see some emails hit that something got updated. So I go in and look at it, and they changed my BIC to the battalion commander one. Yeah. And which is definitely not the job that I'm coming in to do. And there's a new guy that's coming in. So I'm like, this definitely needs to get freed up for this new person coming in. And so it's just been a lot of back and forth of well, we can't do it on our end. So we got to send it all the way back to you. And then you got to send it back up here. We got to reroute this. And then, we'll send it up to these people. And if they ever get to it, then maybe you'll actually get joined to it. And I'm just like, I just want to make sure I get paid and that I can get a hotel room.
No,
it doesn't seem like it's going to happen anytime soon.
I mean, when I took command of this unit, the guy that I took over from is still on our rolls, and he's in what's called an excess BIC, but he's attached to us. So he's drilling in Texas, and every month he messages me hey man, can you certify my stuff so I can get paid? And every month I'm like, hey, why is this guy still on my rolls? And they're like, well, there's not a BIC open for him in Texas, so we're just gonna it's fun. That's what it's called, government. But what I always tell people, and people, not to make it political, they get really upset about government, libertarian, and states' rights, and was Lincoln good, and all this stuff. And I just always say, I don't want to be unburdened by what has been. I don't want to be unburdened by that. So, or maybe I do want to be unburdened by it, but currently I'm burdened by what has been, and I have 4 officers on my rolls. So I'm like, can I be unburdened?
You're burdened by
what has been, because
I'm a burden to headquarters battery.
Yeah, you're burdened
because I'm hey, I still haven't figured this out. Can you guys run my drills? I'd like to get paid.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's so fun. It's so fun because it seems like a process where, click a few buttons. There should be somebody with the permissions to do this, but it's got to go through 4 different levels. And they don't work past noon on any day of the week ever because they're like, we're just I&I. These reservists don't need it. They don't need paid.
We have this other thing we have to do this afternoon. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's
a lot of red tape.
It really is.
BW is good at cutting through that.
The government is.
Speaking of, we need to put BW on this.
Whenever there's a military thing, or it could even be Secret Service, or whenever there's any kind of military thing, and civilians are I don't understand how this happened. I'm like, oh, I do. I do. I know exactly why this happened.
I'm surprised it doesn't happen more.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised more Benghazis haven't happened. I totally get what's going on. This makes perfect sense to me.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway. Trey,
don't you miss it, Trey?
Trey, just take us to college football. Get us off of this.
We need to be unburdened by this.
I need to be unburdened by what has been. Yeah.
I remember. It makes me laugh. I remember, I think Jeff. I can't remember if you were going over to the East Coast to train, and remember we put the HIMARS on it, on an actual train, and ship them over there. And then like there's one time they're like, "Hey, we don't know where the HIMARS are." I'm like, "What do you mean you don't know?" Like they were on a train. I'm like, I'm sure they'll show up. I'm like, I hope so. I signed for them.
This same thing happened to me. I was doing an operation in the Republic of Georgia. It was big like flex on Russia kind of deal. And we went and checked out a bunch of gear from Norway. So I send a whole team of people there. We check the gear out and they go on trains and we mobilize all those reservists to ride on the trains. So like it'll be 14 days from Europe. Through Europe. They'll show up from Norway to the Republic of Georgia. Like day 14 comes and these Marines are like calling me like, "Hey, sir, we're stuck in wherever." Like, I don't even remember. And I'm like, what do you mean you're stuck? They're like, "I don't know. We're out of food. We ran out of MREs." Like, I'm like, "Are you close?" They're like, "No." They're like, "Luckily the Romanian army is feeding us." And I'm like, "The Romanians? Like, why are the Romanians involved?" And we ended up getting there. And I just remember
good dudes. Yeah.
It's always good to get the Romanians involved.
I just remember me showing up to the Republic of Georgia and these guys getting off the train. They had beards. Like they weren't in uniform. They were like, "Sir, it's been wild." And I'm like, all right. The government.
Love it.
Sounds about right.
Anyway. Yeah.
What are you talking about? You want to do some college football?
Yeah.
College football.
Don't remind me about how efficient the government is. Talk to me about Nick Saban or something.
You know, I love that meme. I saw a meme and it was like,
of the Michigan football coach?
No, well, that was crazy. But it's like the whole world's on fire. And it's like, don't worry, college football starts in like 30 days.
I will bring this together.
Boys. I'm like, that's so
almost
true.
There.
I was talking to Jeff. What was it? On the episode that Jeff wasn't able to make, we were that's when we did the stadiums.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Yep.
Dude, I lost sleep over that of like putting Alabama that high. It's so dumb.
Yeah. The stadium's not it's okay now. I remember when I went.
Well, Jeff, you've been there.
Not that sweet, and like Tuscaloosa was not that sweet. So I don't know how they like rebuilt after that whole tornado.
Yeah. So that the Michigan coach like already like Jim Harbaugh, like, way to screw over your dude, man. Just bouncing and leaving him.
So I saw a bunch of like screenshots of text messages that I don't feel comfortable talking about on the podcast. And I was like, wait, who's on the other end of this? And I thought it was a player, but then I realized it was like the mastermind behind the sign stealing deal.
Yeah, he was like wearing disguises. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, oh man. And then like I was watching a documentary just came out on Netflix, like basically like saying, no, this guy wasn't bad. And like, yeah, it was like, we're lucky we're in the middle of a big political war right now, because I was like, I don't really want to. Yeah, I was like, I don't want to go down this rabbit hole. Like, I actually don't want to know the details.
Wait, do you think Michigan is the cause of all this political turmoil so that everyone's going to overlook? Everyone's overlooking their signs.
I mean, it is a swing. It is a swing state. Am I wrong? It is a swing state.
You ain't wrong.
Yeah.
You ain't wrong.
Michigan. Where are you from? Oh, I'm from up here in Traverse City. Oh, you're Canadian.
Let me see your text messages.
Yeah. Let me see your text messages.
You think Michigan was behind the moon landing?
What moon landing?
Probably. It's probably just to throw everybody off from them cheating.
What moon landing?
But I don't know. I feel, I don't know. Ready for it to kick off. I've been following fall camp. Heard good things.
How the Aggies looking? Go ahead, be biased for a minute. You come in here for 33 weeks straight. You get
it's talking season, man. You know how it is. Everyone looks good during talking season.
I don't actually. I always think we're 4-7. So, but I can imagine.
Dude, apparently that wide receiver y'all got is like a freak of nature.
I know.
Like someone was saying that he could have gone to the Olympics. Like that's how fast he is.
Yeah.
Who's this guy?
I don't know. I keep watching the Olympics and I wonder if Olympians are that good.
Hey.
How's his pole vault?
Well, he would have been in the same predicament.
No, he's good. Yeah, he's good. I don't know. I think big money schools are going to shine this year. That's what I think.
Big money.
I think that the what's it called? Transfer portal, the money,
NIL.
Yeah, I think it just favors if the school has been good historically and if they have money. And if they're good historically, they do have money. So like I want to see the Gamecocks shine, but I don't think it's going to happen because they have a fan base, right? But I think the times of, hey, we're bad and the fans love us, and so therefore players want to go, are over. And it's who's historically good and who will pay the players.
So like A&M
does
has
the fan
like
base use Coinbase? How's that? Are they using that?
I was going to say this.
Ledger.
So like A&M has like Exxon, right? They got a bunch of
That's a pretty good
There's
one.
a lot of money in there.
We should get them as a sponsor.
Auburn has Yellowwood.
That's
their
doesn't sound
big
like impressive, but apparently
it's a big old money in Yellowwood, man.
A lot of money in it. A lot of people wood.
And the Gamecocks have the Strength Co.
That's what I was going to say.
Up and coming.
Hey, we're up and comers.
Up and
Hey,
coming.
man.
Hey, it's a slow build.
Soon to be.
Soon to
Compete with that
be.
We
Yellowwood.
need to get Nova back on.
Yeah. More
I know.
Nova equals Gamecock wins.
Think
Nova's
about
got
it.
some college eligibility left. Get her over there. Right? She played lacrosse, right? Or something.
Yeah, she was
I remember.
across. Yeah.
I just remember she was a strong woman. Literally and figuratively.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In all sense of the
In all
phrase.
senses. What else you got on the slide deck? You got a couple things up there.
It's not in the slide deck. I saw Deadpool Wolverine. Thought it was good.
Was that good?
Fun.
Was
I
it
don't know if
good? It
Grant
looked
would like
gimmicky.
it, but
I don't
It's
even
good.
know what we're talking about.
It actually was
it's
good.
Yeah, I thought it was fun. Good summer like Marvel movie. There's some good cameos in there. There's some good little like Hugh Jackman Easter eggs that are in there. I'd say
Okay.
it's worth. If you like the other Deadpool movies, you'll like this one.
If you like Star Wars,
Yeah, and
What
Lord
is
of the
Dead-
Rings.
what
and
is
Harry
Deadpool-
Potter.
What is Deadpool?
It's a Marvel
Superhero.
movie, comic
he's
book
a superhero.
character.
Yeah.
So
So I
him and
remember-
Wolverine, who's also a comic book character.
Hugh Jackman.
Is that the meme I see where it's a guy laying yellow and blue looking at a picture frame, and then the second part of the meme is like what he's looking at, and that's the meme I'm seeing?
That could be.
Potentially.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah. I just remember
You
the only
described
thing
it
I
so
know-
well.
and blue.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
Wolverine looking at a
Okay.
picture, and it's always
Yeah.
I'm so
something,
glad Jeff speaks
Yeah.
something
Korean.
topical.
Me too.
he's so good at it.
Yeah, the only thing I remember about Marvel is so my brother Jordan, Home Depot, owned a window cleaning business in high school, and I would ride with him and clean windows. And so when you clean a window, you use a
Squeegee.
Doppler and then a squeegee, and then but a good window cleaner does the towel work on the end. So you call them edges and corners and ledges.
Mm.
And so you get those with the towel. So there's no like streaks and water dripping. And so Jordan had a couple good clients on Paris Island, and one of them was the Paris Island food court. So I remember it because long before I was a Marine, we would go to ride in and we'd have to like show his business license, like get in. And then we'd go in and we'd clean the food court. And the food court, we always cleaned before it opened. Any restaurant, you always clean before they open. We had a lot of Applebee's too. But I just remember I'd be in there and like he'd be squeegeeing because he was the intelligent one. And I would be cornering and ledging the windows. And there was a game in there and it was like Marvel versus Capcom. And I would always be like, oh, where are we going next? And he would be like, Marvel versus Capcom. I'd be like, oh, we're going to Paris Island. And so I always, anytime in my life since that I've seen a machine, like what do you even call those?
Arcade game?
Arcade game?
Arcade games. I'm always like, Marvel versus, and I send him a photo. And yeah, anyway, that's
It's
my
actually
only.
Love that.
Yeah,
That's
it's
good memory.
Marvel. So Marvel is Wolverine.
And Deadpool. Yeah.
Okay.
And
that-
the Avengers, all those.
Avengers. Okay, got it. Yeah. All right.
It's good. It's good.
But we had a good discussion on the pre-show that
I
I'd
love
be
the
curious
pre-show.
to get everybody's thoughts on. Is what's your opinion of chiropractors?
I went to one as just an experiment.
Ooh, do tell.
Yeah.
Okay.
I felt the same. Didn't really do much, but I didn't really have a problem either. I was just kind of like, is this fake? I'll just go look at it.
I've never done.
Did they just do
it,
like the adjustments and like cracking?
Yeah, I went down the rabbit hole and I got the doctor, quote unquote doctor, to describe all of the mechanisms behind it. Mm-hmm. It seems like it seems like there might be something there. Like, you know, every great conspiracy, there's a kernel of truth. Mm-hmm. It looks like there's something there because you are applying like a physical force to muscles. Basically, it's more about the muscles, honestly, than the spine, because you're trying to adjust the muscle and the fascia around the spine to kind of get it to loosen up and everything. So there's probably something there, but it's probably one of those things where if you want to see real results from chiropractic care, one, you might not. And then two, I think you'd have to go like 2 or 3 times a week for 3 years. Like, it's not like cracked your back, now you're better. I think that's fake.
There you go.
But there's a lot of quackery in terms of like, oh, let me just like adjust you real quick. You'll be walking perfectly after this.
I have a little bit different of a take, but I'm actually curious of Jeff's takes first.
I've only been to the chiropractor once.
Okay.
And they didn't do it. It was like, I guess he could have done it. I mean, he was labeled as a chiropractor, but he just did like dry needling. And so like, I actually did feel like that helped because it was like a time my back was like super locked up. So that like, I definitely felt some relief from that because it was just like, okay, letting the muscles actually relax, and not like the adjustment, like kind of like classic chiropractor. So I don't know. Yeah, I'm kind of with PJ in that. I think a lot of the like,
it's like 20%
to mind is like not necessarily. So if it's like a chiropractor comes in, they're like, oh, well, we're just going to do a quick adjustment of the spine and that'll get your like left big toe back in order and then get you out the door. Let's book you now for one every 2 weeks.
So I'm kind of like halfway between, I think I'm mostly against you guys. Like what I think is that if a muscle is touching a nerve, then you can be in a bunch of pain.
Oh yeah.
And that a chiropractor can actually move a muscle or fascia, like PJ says, and relieve the nerve. And you might actually instantly feel better, right? What I don't think is that a chiropractor scans you. And I did this actually when I lived with you, Jeff. They scan you, they show your x-ray and they're like, your neck is too far forward. This part of your spine's too far back. And they say, if you come in twice a week, we're going to fix your alignment. I actually, while like with strength training, you're like, hey, if you come in, you add a little bit more weight, it works. I actually don't think like if you have scoliosis, a chiropractor snapping your neck, or even if that's an unfair thing to chiropractors. Yeah, if they're trying to crack your back in a way to straighten it, I don't think it straightens. What I do think is that if a muscle is touching a nerve, they may adjust you in such a way that you have a relief. What I also think is if they needle you, they do cupping, they do vibration, they do TINs, and it makes you, the placebo effect is real, right? Like, so you may feel better. I am pro chiropractor of something really hurts. You either make me believe it's going to feel better, or you actually like remove tension between nerve and muscle, or bone and nerve, and I feel relief. What I don't think is that, hey, if your spine is crooked, going to the chiropractor 2 times a week is going to fix that over time.
Yeah.
So I think
there's good ones out there.
You know, there's definitely good ones out there. Definitely. Like there's definitely good ones out there. I'm not anti-chiropractor. I'm just like, I've had a lot of clients that go to the chiropractor. They're like, oh, I have a 16-degree curve in my spine. I can't deadlift. I'm like, well, you do have a 16-degree curve in your spine, and he's not going to fix it. It being stronger is probably going to help. Like you should probably deadlift anyway, you know, that sort of thing.
And everybody's got some kind of curve going on. No one's got a perfect back. There's zero people. Yeah. I always kind of think about it. I kind of use this test of like, this isn't a perfect thing, just kind of but just like a basic test of like, okay, they are actually applying stress to you.
Yes.
And most things that are useful and actually good involve some sort of actual stress happening. They're not just like, hey, take this pill, or let me just like wave this magic wand, or I don't know, like whatever. Yeah. But like there is a real stress. And the best light I could paint it in is over 3 to 5 years. It's sort of like braces for like getting on your teeth, like braces on your teeth. It's like a little bit of pressure over a long time can make a move. But I think it's like probably a lot of the benefits are way overstated, but I feel like there's something there. And the other thing is funny about chiropractors is whenever they are talking about like diagnosing you and their approach and their problems with human health, I'm like, I'm with you. Like,
and then the practice of what their application.
Yeah. And it's like, okay,
different.
holistic approach. You got to treat the body. You got to treat the cause, not the symptoms. You have to like apply a real stress. Okay. I'm with you. And then they're like, and so we're going to crack your neck. I'm like, you lost me. But I mean, they would say that they're not cracking your spine. They're adjusting your muscles and bone. And sometimes a crack happens. That would be what they would say.
So I have a good friend who's has her PhD in physical therapy. She teaches
I love doctors.
And so the logical fallacy from authority. Well, she said like, cause she's like overall, like not really pro chiropractor, but she goes, there are good ones out there. And she's like, how you know they're a good one is if you go to them and they give you a start and you have an end date. If you go see a chiropractor and you got to come back every 2 weeks in perpetuity, then you know that it's probably not a good chiropractor. But if you have like, hey, here's a program we're going to do, it's going to be 16 weeks. After that, you should see some sort of results. That's usually how you know it's a good one. But again, I've never done one before.
I don't go to one, so that really tells you my opinion.
Yeah, so 4 guys who never really been to a chiropractor before. So
no, I went to one for a while. Okay. Great news. No, I'm not saying I know. I'm just saying there's definitely good ones. And I also think that back pain is super funny and brain triggering.
It's weird.
So like if your back's killing you and you feel like you can't lift and you go to a chiropractor and he does some weird twist and then you're like, hey, I can go to the gym. I'm pro that chiropractor.
And that works.
And I don't know that anything like medically happened, but I think that, I think it's an interesting trade. I would probably send people to chiropractors before that. I would send them to MDs for back pain because I think that there's some value of, hey, I'm going to do this thing to you and convince you that you're fixed. And most of the time, I think that the pain is coming. The pain is real, but it's signaling something in the brain to where you think you can't do anything, which is making the actual problem worse. Yeah. And so a chiropractor will be like, hey, I did this adjustment. You're good. And if you believe that, you may go back to the gym or wherever and do whatever you were going to do. And like, now you're actually on the road to good.
It's a bridge to
Whereas if you go to an MD, they're like, don't lift anything over 50 pounds. And now you're like, I can't come to your baby shower because the doctor said my back, so I think I'm way more pro chiropractor than I am
just getting a surgery
when it comes to, the surgery is crazy. I mean, like, dude, and I don't think Coach Ron will be upset about this. Coach Ron, Feeling the Strength Coach, is one of my first clients, been coaching at the gym for a long time, spondylolisthesis, all this back pain. They've been trying to give him back surgery. He's been fighting it. He goes to a new specialist. They're like, hey man, it's not your back. It's your hip. They're like, there's this thing going on in your hip. Dude. And we think we can inject it. And he's like, wait, what are you talking about? I've been to 5 back doctors. They're like, nope, it's your hip. It's your hip. And with that said, he's going through some hip treatment now. He's getting some shots in his hip, but they're like, we think it's your hip. And because he was just like, I don't want them to cut my spine open.
Yeah.
Like, what can I do to not cut? Yeah, no, I think good call, right? Don't have them cut open your spine. And now he's like relieved that like someone's seeing something different, and it may not be right? It may not fix it. And that's where I'm kind of like, even in his case, he's like, what do you think? And I'm like, I just think like, even if it's painful, if it's livable, like I don't want someone cutting open my back.
Yeah. Like I know a few people that had the surgery and they did like
no results.
Man, isn't it like almost worse? Cause like now they're just like immobile, like in that part of their body. And it's just like, and there's a guy at work, when I first started there, he was talking about getting back surgery. And I was like, dude, I know I've only known you for like 3 months, but I was like, I would avoid that at all costs. Like, do something.
Isn't it like a third? Is like what is like a third of back surgery works, a third of it doesn't do anything, and a third makes it worse. So 2/3 chance it's either the same, and you just expose yourself to surgery risks, or worse.
Yeah, I think it's 75% don't work. It's like
that's roughly the same thing
you're saying.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's wild.
That's bad odds, dude.
Yeah,
just go to the chiropractor.
That's why they call it the practice of medicine, right?
Yeah, I mean that's why people listen to the OK podcast. They go to the doctor and they're like, that doesn't make sense.
Let me check this with them.
Let me find out.
Hold on. Let me listen to this podcast real quick.
Yeah. Now I know what to do.
Look at left knee.
No, the title is Back Pain and Bitcoin.
Back pain and Bitcoin.
Yeah.
God, back pain sucks.
Yeah,
Bitcoin caused my back pain. That's what it was.
Gosh, too much in my coin, too much in Coinbase, not enough
carrying too much in my ledger.
You gotta protect it from Wild Bill.
Bags are too heavy.
Bam! There goes your back. Now give me your Bitcoin.
Rich Bill.
Rich Bill. Anything else on the slide deck?
There was nothing else in the slide deck that I found. And then just quick shout out to the Slack. We asked for some questions a couple weeks ago. Let's try to post some real questions in there.
I feel like. Do you have Craig's question handy?
Is it the one about the prolapsed anuses?
Yeah, I feel like we have to touch on.
All
that.
right, hold on. Let me.
Ew, gross. Dude.
No, it's gross. But for his persistence, like every time.
I don't want to touch it.
I'm with Jeff. Like, ask us a real question. Like, Mike Benner, I get it. You want to know if a skinny marg is better than a non-skinny marg. But like, for Craig's sake, just read it and then
just send it.
Scroll.
I'll answer the margarita one. It's not.
There we go.
Next question.
Yeah.
Boom.
Next question.
Yeah. Here's the next one. Just read it out loud. And that may be all we need to do. Or we'll just ask Trey for advice.
Okay. The question is how to stop anus from prolapsing while deadlifting. So
I think you got to tighten
over to
the core.
you as our anus expert.
I'm a pelvic floor. I'm a pelvic floor specialist. I'm not an anus expert.
It's close though. That's close.
Close enough.
I'm skipping a jump.
You can't afford not to go there. As a homeschooler, what does prolapse mean?
Goes out.
Means your anus is like coming out, like it's inside.
It's supposed to be in here. Now your anus is out there.
So is he pooping?
You got just this part here, but then it like comes out.
So he's not
turns
pooping.
inside out.
It's almost like a hernia.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's like a hemorrhoid.
Yeah, hemorrhoid. Yeah,
It's like a hemorrhoid for lifters.
yeah.
This question is
But
sponsored by
Grandpa
the
chimed
Strength
right
Count.
in on it.
What did Grandpa say? Actually, what did Grandpa say?
What did AI Grant say?
Probably better than me.
Okay. For issues like a prolapsed anus during deadlifting, it's crucial to consult with a medical professional or a physical therapist who specializes in pelvic floor disorders. They can provide tailored advice and exercises to help strengthen the area and potentially prevent such occurrences when heavy lifting. Meanwhile, ensuring proper form and not exceeding your lifting capabilities is essential. Stay safe.
Yeah, question answered.
End-to-end care.
So
Powered by the
there's your
Strength
answer.
Count. Prolapse anus.
You actually
Yeah.
you don't even need to listen to this podcast. You don't have to listen about Bitcoin. You don't have to listen about college football. You don't have to listen about the Marine Corps. You can just join the Slack channel, $29 a month, and Grandpa will answer the questions for you. I don't have a better answer.
Question.
I'll be honest. Like if your anus is prolapsing,
You got a problem, bro.
yeah, you got a problem.
You're doing something wrong.
You got a problem. You probably saw too many chiropractors, and you have the booster, and there's stuff going wrong. Like I can't help you there.
Can you go to the chiropractor for
who asked that question?
You think they can?
Who asked that question? Craig. What if Craig is actually being 100% dead serious and he's actually suffering from this?
He's in a lot of pain.
He might be.
He's like, I just really need an answer.
No, he's in a lot of pain because his Washington head football coach left for what, Texas?
A&M or Alabama.
Oh, A&M. Alabama.
Alabama.
Yeah. So he's in a lot of pain. Penix is gone. I get it. I'd be prolapsing too under deadlift. So it's a stressful time.
Now the title got more complicated.
So I moved this one up. Yeah, at this point, we got a new, not a lot of people make the soundboard. We've had, nice cat. Love the cat.
Cat.
I've had 2 cats. I don't know if you've noticed throughout time here. So I think, 12 people have read an ad read. 7 are on the board. Here's our news.
Wow.
All right. Based in South Carolina, but wherever you live, whether homeless or in a bougie house, VW Tax LLC will help you maintain and receive the money that you earn.
Oh,
I like it.
I love it.
That was good.
Short and sweet to the point. Love it.
Bougie house. None of us
almost
live
bougie.
So I feel like we're more on the homeless side, but
that's true.
Well, at this point in every episode, we ask for saved rounds.
No saved rounds.
Alibis.
I'm trying to think. No.
Yeah, no saved rounds, no alibis. Well,
no prolapses, nothing.
Yeah, at this point of the show, when we've gone through all the save rounds and alibis, which in this show is 0. Trey, we appreciate how much you rehearse this every week, how much you look into it,
printing it out and putting it in front of you.
We love your preparation. Take us for a landing. Tell
what episode?
033.
033. Okay.
In the future.
This has been episode 033 of the
Okay.
That sounded great. I'd like to thank our sponsor, BW Tax. This has been an informative episode. I just trying to wrap my head around everything that we talked about. It's been fantastic, especially those Slack questions. It's really tied a bow on it. So really happy for all the
Slack question.
Well, we had the skinny mark one too. That was
that's right. You're right.
True. You did answer that expertly.
Yeah, I go. Yeah, next question.
Second was a pain in the butt.
So yeah, as Grant said, you can find the Slack info below. Click the link. Love to see you there. Ask a real question would be nice, but if not, I don't know. We'll still answer them anyways. Where we at? Yeah, you go to www.theokpodcast.com. Find all of our social media links there. We all have our each individual social media accounts that we're all very active on.
What's the biggest one?
Biggest one is definitely 100% Jeff, who's
not even close.
He's live right now. Yeah,
can't stop.
Biggie JP
can't stop.
Won't stop.
Everyone knows his handle. Everyone knows all of our handles.
But most importantly, we are powered by the Strength Co. But we would like to thank our sponsor, great guy, better at taxes, BW,
officiating my wedding,
officiating PJ's wedding. But Coach, did I miss anything?
No, I think it was great. Yeah, thanks for tuning in to episode 033, the OK Podcast. We're well over halfway to a year. I can't do math. I was homeschooled, but if you were going to take 52 and put it down into thirds, I would assume we're pretty close to 2/3. Am I right, Trey?
Yeah, check those out
real quick.
Yeah, crunch those numbers. Yeah, artillery math harder than girl math. No, girl math harder than artillery math. But no, thanks for listening. We know we're broadcasting from the future. The Olympics are over, but don't worry. We got some exciting things coming up. We got Steven Garcia next week. We're going to talk
college football.
So thanks for tuning in.